When I was a kid, I used to just walk around in circles. Didn't think much of it. Didn't think I was weird or anything. I used to walk around in circles. I had no phone. I had no music playing. See, the computer used to be in the living room. Maybe I did have music playing. I don't remember. But this is before the internet. But let me tell you a situation that I handled pretty well on a Saturday. So this doesn't really highlight my faith, more of my my personality. The fact that I don't like conflict. Now, being a Christian helps me deal with conflict more because it throws people off whenever you don't respond with violence or anger. But I found out because, like I said, it was my subscriber. I told her that you're my source of the news. Like I like to see what you post. If you just happen to post the news, like I said, I'm not like there's specific particular things I don't want to see. But she I found out that the actor from what was it? It was Sanford and Son. Yeah, I happened to research him before he died. His name is Desmond Wilson. Desmond, whatever. I never really watched the show because it's not really my time. It's not really from my era. But I told the guy, "Hey, did you hear that the actor from Sanford and Son passed away?" And we were like, "Yeah, the whole cast is dead." And I don't. So one thing about me, I don't bring religion at work. It's like it's the what do you call it? It's the P, it's the S and the R you don't bring at work. You don't talk politics, sexuality, and religion. You leave those things at home. So I try to, engage in a little secular topics, but I don't really talk about the news. That dude that I started talking to, anytime he asked me about the news, I just be like, I'm not really following it. So I asked, so I was like, he was like, yeah, I heard he died. Yeah, we were like, yeah. Now the whole cast is dead, and he was saying how he was the GOAT. And I said, well, people overlook Bill Cosby, and then he was just saying, and I'm gonna use some illusion. He just said that, man, nobody listened. He was basically saying that people of lower economic statuses in the United States that may live in housing that is that is provided by the government, they don't listen to Bill Cosby. He's for people of higher economic statuses who may have private home ownership. They don't require government assistance. And I just said, and then I just asked him, "Hey, what do you mean by that?" I wasn't taking it in no kind of way, but I just said, "Hey, people can listen to anybody, no matter what variation of skin they have." And then he got into the topic of you know, the way you talk. You make your tone of voice, not me, but he said there's a such thing as talking like another variation of color of skin. And I was like, that's so ignorant. You can't talk like another tone of skin. Now I can say this: people may sound different based on their tone of skin. The variations, like the voices, every voice can vary based on the variation of skin. But I don't feel like you could talk like a particular group. That's ignorant. Like talking educated. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I don't feel like I'm there yet intellectually. But I don't think that talking intelligent does not mean you're talking like a particular group. You're utilizing the words you learn from school. And I even said to him, hey, what's the point sending your kid to school if they're not going to utilize what it is they learn? Well, you're better off just keeping them in the streets if that's all if that's what you consider to be, you know, like the proper dialect. You're better off just keeping the kid in the street. It got a little heated because you know, I wasn't getting mad, but he was getting pretty heated because I just said that you're very wrong, sir. I was referring to the just want to say some historical figures: W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington. I was telling him like, yeah, there was a time when education and college were before the civil rights. It was looked at as a positive because people before, certain groups were deprived of the ability to read and write. And I'm just telling him that your way of thinking is so ignorant. Somebody that's older than me shouldn't think that no such thing exists as talking like another classification of a group. He got mad. He put his hand on my arm. I literally took his hand off my. He put his hand on my shoulder. He got real close to me. I put his hand off, and I felt like my boss sort of saved me because she told me I have a truck that needs to get pulled. But he was a little too close. That's when I took his hand off, and he didn't see. Here's the thing. He didn't prove my argument wrong. He just basically told me that he didn't agree with me, but he wasn't proving me wrong. I'm giving him facts. So after that, when I pulled the trucks, he came over to me when we had like a break, and he was like, "All right, round two." I told him, "Hey, we at work. This is what we're primarily supposed to just be working. I don't want to get in none of this no more. I ain't mean for it to evolve into like a dispute because I wasn't the one arguing. He was the one that got heated. The next day, as in yesterday, when I saw him, see, I don't have a ID yet, but when I saw him, he came up to me and apologized. And I ain't really, I'm not saying I don't forgive him. It's not really, see, it's nothing that he did because he was the only one that got mad. I don't have to get, it wasn't really, see, this is how I know I'm growing up. It's nothing he did that got under my skin because he was the only one that was getting mad. But he apologized and I just told him like, hey, I don't really want to discuss this no more. It's water under the bridge, we're fine. Now I avoided him because obviously he has a temper. But when you are engaging in a debate, which I don't recommend doing at work, it sort of turned into that because we were just talking. I just wanted to correct him on his thinking is wrong, and he didn't debunk nothing I said. But when you're engaging in a debate, all you are supposed to do is argue that person's points. When they're getting under your when it's getting under your skin, it only highlights how you don't have your debating skills are inferior. He knew his way of thinking was backwards. There's no such thing as talking like another classification of a group. You can't sound now again, we all have different voices. Some of our voices are deeper, some are high, but you cannot sound like any other group. There's no such thing as that. Now again, there's a such thing as slang and you know, explicative, derogatory language, explicit language. That's profanity. Because he was saying how there's a ways that people talk from lower economic statuses and there's a way people of higher economic statuses talk. He was saying like, it's a way you talk when you're with your kids and it's a way you talk when you're with adults. And I was like, no, that's not even the same thing. That's called when you're talking with kids, you're not supposed to use explicit language. That has nothing to do with variation of people. It's never everyone does that. But he was so wrong. It just wasn't even funny. Like I really feel like he was just baiting me. He just wanted me to get a reaction out of me because nobody can be that ignorant at his age.